What up, though? It's your girl, Mautsa, and I am the community manager for the We're Becoming initiative. And I'd like to welcome you guys to our second episode of the Becoming series. So today we're super excited for what we have in store for you guys today. We're going to be chatting a bit more on the current theme of the month, which is the climb, i.e. the journey on purpose.
Good day and a very warm welcome to you all. My name is Gaseke and I am co-founder of We Are Becoming. We Are Becoming is an organization that is centered around empowering women to become the most vibrant, most unique and most confident version of themselves. I am joined here with two amazing women who are going to further introduce themselves.
Hi everyone, how y'all doing? My name is Mautsa and I am the founder of We Are Becoming. Today we are joined by a very special guest, a woman that is dear to my heart, a powerhouse, a firehouse. She is a Herbalife coach, a life coach, a motivational speaker, and the CEO of her own company, On Purpose Personal Development. Simone Naidoo, welcome. It is lovely to have you here with us today. How are you?
Thank you, ladies.
How are you?
Rumbi and Anesu, fabulous.
Awesome.
Fabulous. Fabulous must be your standard answer for everything. Fabulous.
Definitely.
So as we start off, our topic of discussion today is a journey to living a purposeful life. Simone, what does purpose mean to you and does it differ from passion and happiness?
So purpose is everything to me. That's why I literally named my company On Purpose. Purpose is literally the what of your life. None of us know why we came here. Religion tries to answer it, spiritual teachings try to answer it about this why. Why was I even born? Why was I incarnated? Why am I this human being? That's a very big question, almost too big for us to kind of conceptualize. But when we think about purpose, purpose is the what. It's the what of your life. So you almost say to yourself, okay, now that I am here, what do I do with this time? Purpose is literally the reason for you being here, right? When you know what you have come here to do, see, there's that what.
Yes.
When you know what your calling is, what you have been called to do, what's going to fulfill your soul, what's going to make the most amount of impact, that's purpose. Now, your next question was, how does it differ from passion and happiness?
Yes.
Your purpose will be linked to your passion. So what you are passionate about is an element or a characteristic of purpose.
Okay.
And that's how most people usually figure out what their purpose is, because they're like, oh, I'm really passionate about baking cakes.
Yes.
I'm really passionate about exotic teas. I'm really passionate about fashion or makeup or design, whatever it is. And that passion, if you follow its trail, will ultimately lead you to your purpose. So it's almost like a marker. Whatever you are passionate about is linked to your purpose. And passion is a very fiery concept, right? It burns, it has desire, it's something that makes you feel alive.
Yes.
Now, when you follow passion, you'll find your purpose. And when you're living your purpose, happiness is a byproduct. It's a result of it. So it's almost like, can you see the equation that kind of makes up purpose? Happiness, though, I would almost say your purpose doesn't make you happy, it brings you joy and fulfillment. Happiness is very superficial. And also, there's a lot of misconception around, I need to be happy. It's like this chronic desire we all have, and if we're not happy, something's wrong. But you must remember, happiness is a state of being. You've heard people say happiness is not something that happens to you, it's a choice you make.
Choice,
right?
I like that.
And so, when I look at purpose, I'm like, the emotion you will get when you're living your purpose is actually peace. You will have a lot of peace, right? And fulfillment, contentedness. And then when you are impacting people, which is ultimately, by the way, what purpose actually does. Purpose is always in service of others. Which means when you are living your purpose, whatever you are doing, whatever service, product, craft, whatever it is going to be making someone else's life better. right? That's also how you know that that is your purpose. And what will happen is you will have moments of pure bliss, extended joy, there'll be a lot of peace, and yes, happiness will be there, but like I said, happiness is more of a choice that you're making, and it's also a very fleeting feeling. The deeper emotion is the ones I just spoke about.
So good.
That is so good.
So good. And on that note, we just want to know a little more about your story. What was your journey like when you were trying to find out your purpose, and what hurdles did you have to overcome in that process?
So how I discovered my purpose was actually by a state of dissatisfaction.
Sure.
Okay? Which means I had to be aware enough in myself to say, something's not okay about this, right? So here's where the emotional intelligence comes in. So I had studied to become an investment banker, and I was in my graduate program at the Reserve Bank, and everything was phenomenal. It was wonderful. It was like I could see where I was going to go. I had access to things that normal employees just coming in wouldn't get to. So by all means, the boxes were all checked.
Yes.
As we all look to
That's
do.
what we like. Yes,
You know?
that's what you have a goal to.
Exactly. and I was just following the script of what I thought was right. Like, you know, don't get pregnant, don't do drugs, like get a good degree and then get a good job, and your parents are going to be happy because you're following the script. The script. So I thought this was supposed to be like, now I'm waiting for the feeling to hit. I'm waiting for the, wow, I love this. I'm so... It never came. And luckily, the type of person that I am and my personality, and I always rather describe it as my soul's very dramatic. So my soul's not going to let me, like, it doesn't let things slide. Okay, so it shouts at me. It doesn't just say, hey, something's not okay. It's like, hey, this is not working. Exactly. So when I started to note, and then I started to look around me. So it's first a feeling inside that was like, whoa, I'm waiting for this fulfillment, passion, what thing to hit me at work. And it wasn't coming. I was just working. And then when you're working without passion, you obviously start to get exhausted, you get tired, you're starting to get sick. You know, things start happening. You're like, what is this? Then I started doing some research. I would ask people around me. I was like, are you passionate about your work? None of them could tell me yes. So it's almost like I did a miniature study, you know. And people around me, my colleagues, could not tell me. And these are people who had been 10 years plus. So now I'm thinking, you should definitely know yourself. Me, I don't know myself at all. And I've got my 24-year-old self to kind of fall back onto. And I can say, yeah, I'm ignorant because I'm young. But nobody had a good answer for me. And then I realized all people had was a set of complaints. They said, I hate my boss, I'm not paid enough, I just can't wait for leave and the weekends. There was a sense of chronic dissatisfaction that I saw all around me. And it was almost like then I had a vision of my future where it's like I could see, this is going to be me. Where I'm going to have all the boxes ticked. I'm going to have a good salary. I'm going to have a mortgage bond on my house. My kids are going to go to private schools. I'll have the BMW, blah, 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 blah. I'll have all of that. But I will not have any passion. Like I won't feel fulfilled. I'll just be living this life externally that looks great to everyone else. But inside I'll be lying to myself. So that is what sparked the journey to say, okay, Simone, now you've got to figure this out. You've got to figure out what your purpose is. And my thing started with passion. I didn't know what I was passionate about. I didn't know what I was good at stuff, but what did I love doing? That I couldn't answer. And because I saw other people around me, which I deemed the creatives, and I was an investment banker, it's not a creative industry. So I kind of limited myself into thinking that means I don't have a passion. That means I don't, and I didn't even know what do I love to do, because passion is something you love. And I was like, I don't know what I love. I like things. So you see, by me asking these questions of myself, that's where the journey began. It began right out of varsity in my first job. Yeah.
And that's lovely to hear about your self-discovery as you were trying to build. But where did it all begin for your self-development, and how did you fit that into and apply that into your everyday life, and why is it so important for us to do the same?
So I love academia. I love learning, I love reading. That's why I studied up to a master's level, because I wanted to be so knowledgeable in this field that I was going into, right? And so it was going to be the same when I needed to figure out what my passion and purpose was. Is that I was going to research the hell out of this thing. Like I was going to know where I was headed into. I was not just jumping in head first. There was going to be a strategy. We're going to do this smart. Because I'm a smart girl, so surely I can approach this with intelligence. And the more and more I researched, whether it was videos on YouTube, self-help, personal development books, spiritual teachings, they were all kind of telling me the same thing. They all kept, and one thread came out, and you'll hear this, whether you speak to researchers in academia, in science, in medicine, in philosophy, they will all tell you the same thing, is that when you go deep enough into a field, you will come up with common themes that have been recurring throughout. And the common theme in personal development was, know who you are. The question kept coming up, who are you? Who are you? Who are you? Because I thought that the question I needed to answer was, what is my purpose? I didn't realize there was something else. And when I started to research it, it kept coming up. Who are you? When you can answer the question, who am I? Your purpose is a natural extension of who you are. You will know your purpose. So if I know I am a healer, I am an entertainer, I am a storyteller, I am a creator, then it makes so much sense why I'd become a doctor, why I'd become an engineer, why I'd become a baker, why I'd become a whatever it actually is. So I realized, whoa, Simone, now I've hit the next level. I don't know who I am. And that's where personal development became the key. And I saw everybody that I role modeled, that I looked at and was like, whether it's Oprah Winfrey or a Steve Jobs, these are people of purpose, right? You'd be like, these people, if you had to list them, who are the people living their purpose, you'd say these individuals. They all had a common trait. They all knew who they were. And so I was like, okay, they did it. And they know different to me. They're just on a bigger platform and they're more famous, but they're human just like me, which means they have to go through the same process that I want to go on. And so let me start there. Let me figure out who I am. And personal development, you need personal development to answer that.
That's important.
That is so
That's
good.
important. So for you, it was just becoming conscious about, I need to find out who I am. That's very important. Wow.
So with the knowledge of you figuring out, okay, this is me and this is what I like, what are the steps that you took from that point? Like, and were they steps or were they like leaps?
Okay.
You know?
Both. They were both.
Okay.
The first step in anything was the awareness that something wasn't quite right. And everybody can answer that question for themselves. Everybody knows when something's not okay, when I'm not happy with something, everybody knows. So awareness is number one. Then you've got to take action. So what I did was I got myself a life coach. So that was right at the beginning in 2014, my first job. At the time, I didn't get her for purpose stuff. I was like, I told her I needed a few things. I gave her a mandate. I was like, this is our investment bankers thing, right? Got a mandate, I'm going to tell you what I need you to do. Number one, she was going to help me with emotional mastery. I was like, my emotions, I told you how my soul screams at me, so you can understand emotions are a big thing for me. I wanted help mastering my emotions. I was like, this is what I want to do. I want to master my emotions. Teach me how. Because I didn't know where else to go. And I was like, I don't need a psychologist. There's nothing mentally wrong with me. I need skills and tools. And there's nothing offered at school. So that's what a life coach was for me. Secondly, it was actually only two things. I wanted her to then help me figure out what my passion actually is. I kept saying, everybody else has this thing. They know whether it's gym or music or art or whatever. I don't know. I don't know what my passion is. And then help me answer this big question. Who am I? And it's through her guidance of showing me what are the steps of inner transformation, right? The journey with my life coach, that it took me 2 years to be able to articulate and answer the question, who am I? What is my purpose? And therefore, on purpose, my company was birthed out of it.
Okay.
And that's then the leap. You see, because when I went into it, I committed everything. I did everything. I went on every course. I read every book. I did all my growth work. I implemented my power hour, which is working on myself every single day, mind, body, and spirit. Because when you do that consistently, results have to come. They have to come. And that's what I knew that my company I would do for others what was done for me. By me going through that life coaching process and working on myself, I was able to figure out who I am and what my purpose is. So that's all I actually offer to my clients. We can only, we can only offer people who we are.
Yes.
And who you are is an accumulation of everything that's ever happened to you and all your experiences.
Brilliant.
Right?
Yeah.
And that is what, almost like the divine intelligence basically said, that's why I'm going to give you all these experiences, because I promise you it's going to be used somewhere.
Yeah.
Nothing is ever going to be a waste. Even my investment banking degree, it wasn't a waste. All the ways I had to think somehow were used in some way, whether it was dealing with the client or the structure of my business, it fit in some way. So that, if you want to know, and I love that you asked the question, what were the practical steps?
Yeah.
Because we hear so much theory around purpose and your calling, but nobody knows where to start. They're like, I'm
And
just
how to do
drowning
it.
in the sea and I don't know. And I love that you asked the question, but Simone, where did you actually start?
So good.
And that's amazing that you actually went out of your way to go and look for it and go and ask, because I feel like some people feel ashamed to go and ask for help and not to want to find their own purpose. So just, even for me, I think, and most people would also want to know that, like, what questions should we be constantly asking ourselves on our journey of self-discovery, and what did you ask yourself through your own self-discovery process?
So the question that I keep, and if you research a lot of spiritual teachings, they say that you must keep asking yourself the big life questions over and over till the day you die, because you're a dynamic creature. You never get to a point of arrival. You get to different points of awareness.
Yeah.
Okay, now I know this,
Yeah.
and then you realize, oh, now I know this and this, and it's kind of like something that keeps getting peeled away. So there's no point of arrival, right? So I looked at those big life questions. And again, this is not me. These are spiritual masters. You know, everyone from Jesus to Buddha to Deepak Chopra and Oprah, you know, all of them, I listened to what is it that they were actually saying. And they were like, you ask yourself some basic things. Number one, who am I? That's a question you must ask yourself all the time, every year, at every age and stage, when you get married, when you leave home, when you have your baby, when you turn 50, what you keep asking yourself this question: who am I? Who am I? Who am I? Because we don't define ourselves properly. Wayne Dyer said, the ego, which is your constructed mental self-identity, right? It's who you think you are, not who you really are, says that I am what I have, I am what I do, and I am what other people think of me. And so I realized that when I first started answering the question, who am I? I'd say things like, I'm an investment banker and I come from here and these are my parents and I'm a mixed race female, whatever. And all of it would be not who I really was. It would be titles and labels and roles. So that's the question you need to be asking yourself all the time. Who am I? Then you need to always be checking in with your emotional state. How is this making me feel? Ooh.
That is so important.
What a question!
How is this making me feel? Because your emotions are live energy inside, and it's using your body, because you never feel an emotion here, guys. You feel it here. So you need to be in touch with this thing that is your body, right? And it's telling you whether something feels right or not. That's why when Oprah talks about purpose, she's like, purpose to her, you feel like you're at home. So when you're doing this activity that is your purpose, you will feel like there's like a big exhale. You're like, yeah, this is it. This is where I'm supposed to be. And all of us have those moments. We just ignored them.
Yeah, true.
Because that's what we do with all our emotions. And any emotion that we can't understand or describe, we shove it away. And we dismiss it. So you need to be very much in touch with your emotions. How does this make me feel? If something feels good, that is, again, divine intelligence was not complicating matters. He literally said, if something feels good, I want you to do it some more. If something is not harming another and it's making you feel good, do it some more. So this is not about like self-satisfaction to the point of narcissism. I'm not saying that, right? Where it's like, this is making me feel good, but everyone else around me is miserable and I'm harming people. No. When you are following your purpose, it makes you feel good and it's in service of other people.
I love that.
So those are some of the questions and some of the things you need to be asking yourself all the time.
Okay.
And also, how can I grow?
Indeed.
How can I grow from this? Especially when challenges show up. Everything, every year, every month, it has to be, okay, how can I grow? How can I progress? How can I get deeper? How can I get wider? Whether it's in your mind or your emotions or in your spirituality, how can I grow? How can I grow? And from a self-loving place. Not something's wrong, I'm not perfect, I haven't arrived. Not from a self-deprecating, critical, self-judgmental place, but from self-love.
I love that. Oh, I love that. I really wanted to ask you, right? I think for a lot of millennials and a lot of just people out there in general, taking this leap to follow your passion is so difficult. And like you mentioned, we follow the script. So we're used to following the script. It makes sense. I did my undergrad in finance. I must do my honors in finance. It just makes sense. Or finance will give me money or whatever. And when is it that I don't want to use the word quit because you're not actually quitting, but when is it that we draw the line? Like how you were speaking just now about your emotions, how does it make me feel? How do I know that this feeling, it doesn't feel great, working at this particular place doesn't feel great? Do I get up and leave? How do I even go about that?
You have to honor yourself, but you need to be smart. Okay. So I think, and I'm so blessed to have the clients that I have, right? So I'm 29. Most of my clients range between the ages of 21 all the way up to 45. Okay, so I'm dealing with millennials, right, as well as non-millennials. Let's call them the Y generation or whatever it was, right? So there's this divide. I can see where it's happening, and also my sister is full on of it. She's your age, right? So full on. I call it the YOLO generation, and I'm like 5 years removed from that. But the advent of the internet made a huge difference in how I see the world. Like I was probably 10 years old, 10, 11, 12, when we like had a computer, when we got dial-up, whatever. Whereas my sister grew up always having technology, and everything that came with that, right? So you must understand mentally and emotionally now, there's a big difference in the way the generations think. It's huge, right? So, but there's certain universal principles that no matter how advanced we are and our access to information and our self-knowing, that you can't circumnavigate. I always tell my millennial clients, which come with this question of, hey, I started to become a doctor, I don't want to do it. I started to be an engineer, my parents want me to do this, I don't want to. I'm in the middle of my degree and I need to switch because I know that I don't see a future here. I just chose it because I didn't know any better, and I wanted to study something. Is that I will always guide them back to answer the question, who are you? Because part of the difficulty of the millennial generation is the fact that things are happening so fast and everything is so public via social media that there's no organic gestation time to know me.
That's very true.
There's no, that stuff isn't there. And then there's a pressure to act like I do know myself. Because also, one of the beautiful things of this generation is you really can be who you are. You can wear any color hair you want to. If you want to change your gender, if you believe you were born the wrong gender, you can do that. You can choose who you want to marry, which country. It's beautiful. Like the more unique you are, the more this generation actually celebrates it. And social media is beautiful for that, But what it's doing is there's some inner mechanics, our spiritual mechanics that, guys, you can't circumnavigate. No matter how advanced you are, it still takes 9 months to make a baby. That's all I'm saying. Right? It doesn't matter how much we know. So for millennials, my advice always is I still have to help you with the same basic things. You still got to know who you are.
Exactly.
You still have to know who you are. And then crafting your purpose becomes an element of life design. How you're going to choose to make this happen. And it can't be compared to anyone else's. Because some people, there's a lot of like misconceptions that, when I figure out who I am, it means I have to be an entrepreneur. No. You can still work for corporate. You can. But if you're going to go on again now, I'm going to throw everything out. You'll throw the baby out with the bathwater. That's the problem. And that's what's happening. And that's why a lot of millennials are so frustrated or finding themselves in these difficult positions is because, yes, they are right. They don't want to do what they've seen their parents do. They've seen their parents come from a generation of survival. They did what they have to do because that's our history, guys. If you're a brown person living on this continent, like, hello, you've been oppressed at some point, right? And now you are the first generation. You are the first generation to grow up outside of oppression. Right? But your parents are not. They've lived in both.
So true.
So that's why they can only understand to a certain extent. That's why you can't blame them. You cannot. But you have to show that at the end of the day, you still have to be an adult. You still have to function, but you can do it while being true to yourself. So it's not a or situation. It's an and.
Okay.
You
I
have
love that.
and that's why this concept of life design is so important. So if you studied a particular degree, I always tell my clients, finish what you started. That's very important, okay? Because that education, that piece of paper, remember, people shed blood for you to get access to even study that thing.
Yeah.
Don't ever negate that, right?
Yes.
So get your education, because no matter what, no one can ever take that away from you.
Definitely.
No matter what happens, right?
Mm.
Then after that, start making choices about your own life.
Mm.
Start making choices in alignment with what you know your passion is, in alignment with, see, now you're on the path. You're not just wishy-washy ticking boxes. It's in alignment with whatever my passion actually is.
Yeah.
And then the big thing, and I know this is what's difficult, patience.
It is so hard, especially in this generation.
Because
It is.
everything happens instant gratification.
Yeah.
It's uploaded quickly. It's faster internet speeds. It's why is this taking so long? So we don't even realize that part of figuring out who you are, Oprah will say things like, you know, your 20s are there for you to mess up. And now we think, I've got to know my whole life's purpose by the time I'm 25. And there's this pressure.
Exactly.
And it's so unfair because it's not realistic.
That's so true.
So I think that's the biggest challenge, and that's where it's a combination of love the fact that you're not willing to put up with things your parents endured. That's a very, very good thing. And I think that's where our parents are supporting us as millennials, right? Where they're saying, okay, we can see, we don't also want you to be miserable because your work is going to be a part of your life for the next 30 years, right? But also we want you to know that certain things take time. And be smart and intelligent in how you approach it. The problem is what I see happening, there's too much bouncing around from this to that. And it's like you think that in the first month you're supposed to know that this is the thing.
Exactly.
This is the thing. And it doesn't happen that way. And the quicker you can accept that, knowing that yes, you are right to ask the question, what is my purpose? You should be asking that from the time you're making your choices of where to study.
Yes.
What is my purpose? What is my purpose? And why do I want to study this thing? And maybe you didn't have the awareness then, or you didn't grow up in a home where that was available to you. But then at your first job, ask yourself that same question. And ask it. That's why I said, you see how you're asking it over and over.
Yes.
That's the reason why.
So good.
That is so amazing. Thank you so much, Simone, for joining us today. Thank you, Anisu, as well. I just want to thank our caterer, Tabby's Treats, for our cakes. Yes, Anisu.
I also have another question
Oh,
and
your last
another,
question.
my last question.
Sorry.
Sorry. Thank you though.
Thank
Ruby.
you. You're
Let's all
welcome.
thank one another.
Let's all thank
we needed to
thank
mention
you.
the Easter cake. So
Yes.
So I love everything you've mentioned, and I've journeyed with you personally. So Simone Naidoo was my life coach, and it was just an amazing journey. And you gave me the courage to take the bold leap of faith. So for the women out there that are my age or even younger than me, older than me, you told me the power of affirmations and how they transform your life. What affirmations would you leave with us today? Would you tell the world out there?
So I think the biggest message, and probably what my company aims to give to people all the time, is this very simple level of knowing that purpose is not for the special among us. It's not for the special, it's not for the privileged, it's not for the rich, it's not for if you came from a certain area or your parents know these people.
So good.
Purpose is for everyone. Your job here, as a spiritual being having a human experience, is figuring out who you are, what your purpose is, right? And then as Dolly Parton said, figure out who you are and then be her on purpose. Which is phenomenal, right? Figure out who you are and then be her on purpose. I think if you're talking about affirmations, and they're so beautiful because they're a tool to help change your inner dialogue. Because this person here, this being is the one that's going to get you to your purpose. She's going to do all the hard work. She's going to be there through all the difficulties. She's going to be there to celebrate with you. She's going to endure. And we never give her enough love. And I think that if you take one affirmation away from the whole purpose conversation, it needs to be, well, not just one. Let's have a series of 3. Number 1, you are enough. So I am enough. Okay, because oftentimes purpose is such a big thing. We think we don't have enough in us, or we're lacking in certain things, right? So I am enough. I am worthy. That's a big one because you might have this dream. Yeah, I know Anesu loves it. Nice t-shirts, right?
My first tattoo.
Worthy. And you can see how important it is because the dream is there. You can see it. You know you want to go there, but you don't believe you deserve it.
Yes.
Right? So I'm worthy of my purpose, no matter how big it actually is.
So good.
Right?
Yeah.
And I love myself exactly as I am.
Okay.
Such a difficult one to say. Such a difficult
And
one
just
to
not
say.
just to say, believe as well. I feel
Yeah.
like self-belief is just something that we all just battle with. And it's not like everyone is out there, always there to remind you, oh, you're perfect, you're beautiful, you know what I'm saying? So it's like something that we needed to learn, to have it within and to resonate within that I'm beautiful, I'm enough, and I deserve this. Yeah. So thank you. Can I just thank you again? Thank you, Simone, for joining us today. It's been amazing. You've shared your heart and your experience, and we really appreciate you being here.
Oh, pleasure. I can't believe it went so quickly.
Quickly. Exactly. Time does that here. It just really does that. Before we end our episode, I would just like to point out a few things. We're going to be having an open mic. So please do check our Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and website for any updates. Thank you for watching.
Thank you.
So for those joining us on our channel for the very first time, Becoming Series is a film production stemmed from the We're Becoming initiative. This is a platform created for women to empower themselves, for them to be able to share their true authentic selves and help them become their best versions yet. So for those who'd like to get more information on really where we are, where we have our events, do visit us on our website on www.wearebecoming.co.za. You'll find our IG name, our Twitter name, our Facebook name, and events and all of that stuff.